Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm with the Brett Torino Foundation. Welcome to our Be 100% podcast. We are on location. This is the best podcast studio we've ever experienced in our lives. You even get pebbles in your shoes
Yeah.
because we're on a sandy beach. And this is Torino Ranch. So it's the five-star resort. Everyone that's been here knows that. It's a best kept secret, right? It's not
Oh,
so
oh
secret
yeah.
anymore.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, we have a very special guest. All of our guests are super special, but this one, he's a generational guest. That's what you are.
You could call
Generational.
me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to introduce himself and tell us about this is your first year, right?
This is actually my second year. So
Second
first
year.
year,
Yeah.
um,
Last year you did volunteer.
I did. I did. Yeah. So my name's Brecker Breeze. Um, Camp name Bogey.
Nice.
So it's actually I'm very. The story of how I got my name's very notorious. So
We would love to hear it.
I was just talking about first night before the campers come up is when all the volunteers get their names. And so last year was my first year, and so I knew a little bit about how it worked, but not 100%. And so I got up there and just told a little bit about myself and what I like to do. And I said, I like to play golf and yada, yada, yada. And so someone said, oh, what are some, golf terms? And one person shouted out, oh, driver, PGA, bogey. And I was like, bogey? I was like, how about birdie or eagle or something like that? I said, I don't want bogey. And as soon as I said, I don't want bogey, they
It
said,
was stamped on your forehead.
bogey. So I took it with grace and decided to,
That's a camp tradition, by the way.
yeah,
The one that you don't
yeah,
want is the one you get stuck with, but it's also the one you end up loving the most.
I do love it the most.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so fun. I
I
love
do.
camp
And some
names.
of the kids who aren't familiar with golf, they think it's uh, like I'm making a Top Gun reference or something, So
Hey, there's probably, yeah,
yeah,
actually, I could see that. Top Gun for sure.
yeah,
So, and you know what the camp name's about, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
up here is our real world. Like I say, we take on our camp persona
yeah,
and we just get to be authentically who we are
yeah,
and no judgments, no issues around that.
yeah,
Whereas in the necessary, we call that the necessary world, the city, and we have our names and all of our labels and all of the expectations that come with obviously being a busy human. So, how has the second year been to you? Like, what's different from this year to last year?
It's been great. You know, I being a counselor. So last year I was in the kitchen. Um,
You were in the kitchen.
so
We
I was,
started you out
yeah.
rough.
So I was, and it's funny you say that because people who've never been in the kitchen think it's one of the easier jobs.
Oh my, no.
But what they don't see is, the kitchen staff is reporting at 5:30 a.m. And you might say, a lot of people get up at 5:30. It's not that, not that big of a deal. But then you have to remember we're the last ones, other than utility and security, the last ones to go to sleep because most of the time we can't get all the cleaning done during regular camp hours, and so there's still a million things that need to be cleaned, pots and pans and tables and all the floors and all these different things, after hours at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And so you've got food all over you and you're filthy, and so you want to take a shower, and then it's 1:30. Well, it's 1:30 and you're setting that alarm for 4:45 or 5 a.m. and you're doing it day after day after day. So um, it was different. I liked cooking. I liked serving people. Um, I like to be able to spend some one-on-one time with the kids that have dietary restrictions. Some because of pickiness, some that they're born with, and some that are treatment-related
Mm-hmm.
dietary restrictions.
Right. Lots of
Um,
those.
and it gives you an opportunity to go the extra mile to be accommodating, and to make that child's time here special because they feel heard and
Mm-hmm.
seen, and that um, a lot of the kids who that's their case, they don't really know if they're going to be able to eat anything, and so that comes with some anxiety. And so after that first day or first 2 or 3 meals, they know, oh, okay, there's someone looking out for me. There's someone has something that they're going to make special just for me. And so you get to do a lot of that when you're with the kitchen crew, and that's really special.
I'm so happy you just went full circle because at first I'm thinking, oh, we're never going to get another kitchen volunteer like ever in history with the 4:45 a.m.
Yeah, no,
up. I was like, oh.
But that makes it worth it. That makes it worth it.
Working with the kids and like knowing that you're there and, very important in their world while they're here to make sure that they get fed appropriately. We have some camps where the dietary restrictions are astronomical and critical. So, those are the camps that I know they sort of bulk up the kitchen staff because they need a lot more one-on-one type dietary, dietitians, I should say.
Yeah.
So, So that was last year. And then this year you're a counselor.
This year I'm a counselor.
Okay. So what is that? What's the transition like?
So, I've been lucky. I've gotten a lot more sleep this year.
You have. We didn't have you in the right cabin.
Yeah. I'm getting too much sleep. I'm very fortunate. And I mean, the kids are fortunate too that all of them are sleeping through the night. I don't have any kids that need
Which age bracket?
Wake up and take meds. 13 to 14.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is the sweet spot because I understand Motley crew or Motley.
They like to stay up late.
Oh, my.
Yeah. The older kids like to stay up late. And then the younger kids are kind of,
wired on sugar.
You open the door and two of them are, on the ceiling and bouncing off the walls.
Right.
So, too much sugar. But one thing that I think is so interesting about being a counselor is, and I think this is a common misconception with just camp and the organization and just this whole topic of, having resources and events and camps and things like this for children. Not all of them are physically ill.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of wounds that go unseen in the day-to-day. There's a lot of kids here who have parents, who have brothers, who have sisters, who are struggling with cancer and other life-threatening and life-altering illnesses. And that can really take its toll on a child. And so what's interesting is, and one thing I wasn't expecting, is to see the type of kindness and compassion that some of the kids who are here to support their siblings have for the kids in their cabin that do have an illness that's physical. And to the point where sometimes it's debilitating and they have a hard time doing certain activities. And I wasn't expecting to see so many of these boys willing to help out and be very understanding and compassionate and caring, and have so much empathy for some of the other kids that just have a different situation than them and need a little extra help. And that's one thing I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Do you have an example, like a moment that you can share with us that just took your breath away?
Yeah. And I think my dad talked about this earlier.
Let's see.
So I have a camper who, so the reason we have the rock wall, I'll start with that. One, the kids love it. I mean, that's a big reason. But two, you get a huge sense of accomplishment when you get to the top of that rock wall and you hit the button, right? That's like, a climbing Everest moment for a child, especially a child that is physically ill, and they're not having the same opportunities to play sports and do other things where they have an opportunity to overcome trials and challenges that are physical. And so we really wanted to encourage this one camper to do the rock wall. Right? We're like, you got to do it. You're going to feel so good about yourself, and whatever you need to do it, we'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, no, I don't think I'm strong enough. I don't think I can do it. And there was a moment where I thought to myself, it's good. We're really going to have to put our thinking caps on to figure out how we're going to, get this kid up the wall just after, seeing him do a few other activities. And we talked to a couple of the other guys about it. And I talked to my co-counselors, and just little bit, every couple of hours throughout the first day, the other boys and my co-counselors were saying, "Hey, you should do the rock wall with me, right? We'll have so much fun. You should do it. You got to do it with me. You'll love it. It'll be so much fun." And encouraged him to the point where he wasn't just willing to do it, just saying, "Oh, okay, I'll do it." He was excited about it. And when I saw him climb to the top of that rock wall and hit that button and ring the bell, that moment right there made the whole week for me.
Yeah.
If that's all I came up here to do, and just encourage that one child to just have a change of perspective, and I know he's been going through a lot of pain recently.
Physical pain? Emotional?
All sorts.
All of it, yeah.
All sorts. And lost a lot of strength, and just a lot of will to do physical activities like that. And the first time I saw him smile at camp was when he got down from the rock wall and he turned around and saw everyone that was down by the pond was clapping and cheering him on. And that was the first time we saw him smile.
That is beautiful.
And so, yeah, that it makes me gotta cry just talking about it.
But let's go there. What moved you so powerfully? Like, I mean, it's obvious, right? There's a child who's scared and he thinks he can't do something, but I mean, he's going through so much, right? Yeah. So it's not just a simple story, but for his life he just impacted your life in a huge way.
Yeah.
So, what did that feel like in ways of you just, taking away that experience and how it sort of transitions into your world? How does it impact you and continue to impact you? Because it will. Like, you'll think about him a lot. I promise you. All the time.
I'll think about him forever.
Yeah.
I'll think about that moment forever. And I was talking to Brett about this earlier today, that just being a witness to something like that is a treat.
Oh, now you're going to make me cry.
That, that in and of itself is a blessing.
Yeah, it is.
Just to be there for a moment like that, to see a sick child. And I don't want to say that he's had a poor attitude. It's not that he's had a poor attitude. You can tell that
you're beaten up.
He wants to be here, but
yeah.
He's weak. He's tired. He's going through a little bit of brain fog, from the treatment that he's going through, and to see him get to a point of that, to being, frustrated and fearful of doing something like going all the way up the rock wall, to being excited about it, to then accomplishing it and actually doing it. And just seeing how quickly things can change. I think for me personally, that's the biggest takeaway I got from that whole situation was, if you're in a bad situation, if you're going through something, you can still have moments of joy and excitement and levity. Quickly. Things can change quickly. Your attitude can change quickly, regardless of what kind of situation you're in. It didn't take all week long. It took a day of multiple people taking time out of their day to encourage him. And sometimes, that's all it takes. It doesn't take a lot of time.
I love this. Two things stand out to me. One thing in particular is that sometimes, and this is what we're all here for, I believe, is we weren't meant to live isolated, but sometimes we isolate ourselves because, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why, but sometimes we need others to carry the load for us for a while, to help us stay in faith, that things will change. And so you guys did that as a group and individually. You stepped in where he just couldn't continue, right? He was not giving up, but really exhausted, at a level where he just didn't want to buy into anything.
Yeah.
And that could have been just for this moment. We don't know, right? But then you guys said, oh no, we're going to pick this up right here and we're going to carry it for you. And so for him to feel so supported, I can't even imagine, his own personal experience.
And he did it again today.
That's so
and
wonderful.
He made it all the way to the top.
Wow.
So.
And I bet he did it with a little more like.
Oh yeah, it didn't take any convincing today.
Say he probably scaled
today
the wall really quick.
When we said we're going down to the rock wall,
yeah.
Who wants to go? His hand was the first one to go up.
Yeah.
So.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that story.
Total. Yeah. 180.
Well, and the other powerful message I got out of that whole thing is what a difference a day makes.
Yeah.
Because we all, no matter what you're going through in life, right? We get caught up sometimes in that, I call it a riptide, right? It pulls us under and then hurls you out into the middle of the ocean and you have no oars, you have no floaties, you have no body, right? And that's a really lonely, scary place to be. And so, but man, if you just have faith and you hold on, I know that's easier said than done. And I know how some listeners will be like, oh, well, yeah, hey, Carrie, sounds ideal. Well, yeah, but it's true. And I've had moments where I've wanted to give up, literally give up. And then I just think to myself, okay, the last time I felt this way, it got better. It got better. It doesn't, so you don't stay in that moment forever, but we always think everything is forever. That's like a human condition, right?
And, and apologies if I'm adding any morbidity to the conversation, but
it's okay.
I think the reality of camp, that's true for the week we're here. But sometimes things don't get better.
Right.
And this is a part of the conversation that I have with a lot of people that I try and encourage to come to camp with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought 2 more people with me.
Good for you.
This year to volunteer. And I hope next year I bring another 1 or 2 more, plus those 2, and just it keeps growing.
It does. It's a ripple effect.
And a part of the conversation that I have with people is don't wait. Don't wait. If you're thinking about doing it and you're thinking about getting involved, don't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Because the reality of the situation is we can very quickly improve the attitudes and the lives and the joy and the happiness of all these children in one day after the first day of camp. But sometimes long-term things don't get better.
Right.
And sometimes campers don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality of the situation. But the reason why we're here and the reason I tell people don't wait is because we have an opportunity to give that child, to give every one of these children one of the best weeks of their life.
Mm-hmm. So true.
And we don't know if they're going to be here next year or the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I always tell people, don't say, oh, I'll do it next year or, I'll do it the year after that. Don't
Nobody
wait.
knows, really.
Don't
Nobody
wait.
knows. Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to come and show these kids a wonderful time on the ranch, do it. Do it now. Don't wait. Do it now.
I tell people the same thing. And your odds may be different, right? Everybody is, they think because you have a chronic illness, it does matter, obviously, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't, unfortunately, pass in a car accident tomorrow. So,
absolutely.
it applies to
Yeah.
all of us. Like,
Yeah.
don't wait. And I think, when I
Same for the
was,
volunteers.
yeah, that's what I mean.
You
It's just
you
all
might
of
miss
us.
your opportunity to experience this because again, it's as much as
We always think we have,
yeah.
next year or tomorrow or, and I think that's where I was going to
Yeah.
what a difference a day makes. No, we all don't get better,
Yeah.
but the moment can get better. The moment gets better in your mind more than anything.
Yeah.
If you do stay strong in that regard, where you can succumb to all kinds of darkness and weakness. And I mean, and it's a real thing, I'm not saying it's not. It's just, there are people who care, so you don't have to be alone. I think that's what camp, to me is the essence of camp is, friendship, really, like family. Because being alone, I don't know if there's anything worse than that, than feeling alone and scared. Two worst things, being scared and alone. I just can't. So this to me helps them build strength, right? And then they carry that strength with them, unfortunately, for a year, meaning they have to come. It's another year that goes around before they come back. It would be nice if camp was quarterly, right?
Be a little cold in the winter.
Yeah, exactly. We'd have a snow camp.
Yeah.
But, the
Wouldn't want to get in the pond.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they do have events year round and stuff like that where they do reconnect. But camp just has a special vibe. It just does. The energy up here is contagious, first of all, right? And I think that's sometimes too why people shy away from the volunteer experience is they know that they're going to be hooked, and then that's another commitment.
Oh yeah.
How was it for you?
Yeah, I knew after the first day. So the first day we had kids. The counselors and the volunteers get here a day early, but the first day that the kids were here, I knew immediately.
You were a lifer.
Yeah. I
we
knew.
Got this one. We got this one.
I mean, halfway through the day, on the ranch, I ran into she wasn't my wife then, but now she's my wife. And we both looked at each other and we said, she said, "We coming back next year?" I said, "Oh yeah, we're coming back next year."
Okay, hold on a second. So, I didn't know you met your wife here.
I didn't meet her here.
Oh,
no,
I was gonna say
no,
because that's happened a lot, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. We have camp babies, by the way.
And to be honest, to single young people out there, it probably wouldn't be a bad place.
It's not a bad place to find your other,
especially too, and. That made me really happy. We were engaged at the time and she was super excited about coming to camp. I was really excited about coming to camp. I think that's really important in my opinion. I know everyone's different, but to be with someone who finds getting involved with things like this to be just as important as you find it.
Absolutely.
And to be able to share that experience. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for someone else like that, this wouldn't be a bad place to find them.
I used to get jokes all the time. Everybody say, "Carrie, there's a second business here, man. It's a singles dating." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I have time for, is matching people." But there's been a lot of people who did meet here.
But you find
married.
People with, that have a good heart.
Absolutely. Well, you hope they all come
heart.
For the same or right reason.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, I think for the most part, when people realize they don't fit, they realize they don't fit pretty quick, but it's cool. So I'm always looking for people that don't fit up here. And then I'm like, Carrie, that's sort of ridiculous because they wouldn't be here, like you just know where you belong.
Yeah.
It's part of your tribe, right? Like this is a tribe, I call it. And it's really, you just feel good and you feel right. And it feels like it's supposed to, I love up here too, because these kids feel valued. And, in town, in life, with their families, they are so protected and, lots of times more told what to do and be than getting to really figure out who they are on their own.
Yeah.
So up here, we just say, hey, let it happen.
Yeah.
Let them figure it out.
Yeah.
So, we think you look oddly familiar, and I can't place it, but you look almost like this identical twin to
Oh,
a previous guest we had.
I'm much better
Who
looking.
might?
I know. I'm sure he said that too.
No, actually, he did say you were better looking. He said also, didn't he say he was brilliant or much smarter than? Yeah.
Brett said you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm a little younger.
so the beauty of that. So is that one of the two you brought up?
Yes. Yeah. So
good.
yeah. So I
You recruited your dad.
So my wife also was here last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's our second year.
We got to
And
get her
then-
up here.
And then I know she's a little camera shy. I don't know if she'll want to, but so she's here. But then we brought a friend of ours, and then my dad.
Yeah.
So
Very
so
cool.
our goal is every year we come back, we're bringing at least one more person with us than the previous year.
Beautiful goal.
So now
I
there's
wish everyone would do
there's
that.
4 of us,
Yeah.
including me. So now next year has to be 5.
So eventually we could create a camp with all the Breeze volunteers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll have our own tribe.
That's so great. So I know Brett has been working on Marty for years, as have
Yeah.
I.
Yeah,
So you sealed the deal.
I
think.
sealed the deal,
Yeah,
yeah.
you did.
I gave him some firsthand
An
testimony.
ultimatum, like he was going to be in the doghouse if he didn't come up, huh?
Well, I told him I said and the buddy that I brought up here, I told him, I said, I mean, if he's coming, you have to come. And it's a little unfair. My friend has done a lot of things, not for Nevada Childhood Cancer, but he's worked with a lot of other organizations in town, and so it's been a while since he's gotten involved in everything. So he was really looking forward to coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I had him telling my dad and my wife and myself were saying, you got to do it, right? There's no excuses this year. You got to do it.
Right.
But I mean, I talked to him a couple hours ago, and he's sort of going through that same thing that I was, halfway through camp last year. That I think he's a lifer now, is what they call us.
Yeah.
when you're coming
When you're
back
in.
year after year. Yeah, you're hooked.
You're hooked.
You're hooked.
Literally hooked.
Yeah.
We hook you. So is there anything that you have witnessed, like you would improve upon or do differently up here that you think would really be helpful?
Ooh, I think we got to do 2 weeks.
That's been unanimous. Wow.
I think we got to do 2 weeks, and
which is okay. They used to have 2 weeks. So.
I mean, I remember, yeah, and I mean, I know. So the pandemic hit. I know
Yeah.
it was very slow to sort of get a lot of the kids back, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of kids who have
Parents were very apprehensive.
parents.
Yeah.
There's kids with autoimmune deficiencies and things like that. So I totally understand the apprehension. But as we're moving past that and things are improving, I think we got to do 2 weeks. And this definitely isn't a complaint. I love it. It's a good thing. I mean, you can just tell visually just walking around, if you were here last year, that camp is at capacity. I mean, every cabin's full.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, the walk-in, fridge is full of food because we got to feed more people.
Mm-hmm.
You see there's more staff, there's more volunteers, there's more cars, there's more everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's so cool to see that there's just more going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would love to see 2 weeks, and I just might have to be up here for 2 weeks also.
Whoa! Did you guys all hear that?
Yeah,
We just have a
maybe. We'll see.
commitment.
We'll see.
Wow.
Well, I know. Yeah. The camera's got it, but
Yeah. That's a commitment.
that would be a treat. I mean, I love being up here,
Mm-hmm.
especially too. It's just around the time of year where it's getting really hot in town,
Brutal.
and the weather is always perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is a treat. It's a
Mm-hmm.
nice escape to be up here.
Yeah.
Obviously for the kids, but also
for us,
for the volunteers.
it is pretty much a sanctuary. That's
It
for
is.
sure. So in the group that you have, the cabin group, Have they suggested anything like we always like to grow and improve, and VCCF is no different. And so, any suggestions as far as activities? Do the boys ever talk about like, oh, we wish we had blank?
Oh, I know. I've got one.
Okay,
I've got
I
one.
love it.
And this is up to Brett to make this happen. It's pretty simple.
That's okay. I have a little bit of a connection there.
Yeah, a little bit. So, um, so we have a basketball hoop,
Okay.
but to just pour a little bit of asphalt and draw some lines so we can get some real basketball games going. I don't play. I'm no you don't want to watch me play basketball, but a lot of the kids like playing, and that's something where a lot of them can do together.
Yeah.
And so, but that's a little thing.
It is well, and I'll tell you, and this
do.
has always been a delicate subject, this little basketball thing, because typically that's we call that a city activity.
Yeah.
And so we try to get them to experience life without the city.
Yeah.
So they're in nature.
Oh, okay. Okay.
One of the things I think this group probably would maybe have some challenges, maybe not. But with some of the other groups, one of the things we do is we take them on a hike, and the especially boys,
Yeah.
but then the teenagers or the just preteens, they absolutely love it. You know, they connect with nature at a level that I think so many of them don't know what a garden is, or they don't know, you know, they've never been hiking, or they've never been to a ranch, you know. So we try to get them to connect a little bit more with nature versus basketballs.
Yeah.
You know, that's all.
I would love to do a day hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic. The only reason I didn't actually didn't suggest that is because I do have that one camper who is you know already having a hard time getting around as it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we could do that. But
that's what golf carts are for, by the way.
Yeah.
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 No, we make
throw some off-road tires on a golf cart
Yeah.
and
I mean,
get them up there.
We've had flying Elvi land here.
Yeah.
No, seriously. One year we had the flying Elvi land here. So we had little flying Elvises, you know, those guys that land. But yeah, we try to always think of something, you know, we've been told zip lining, you know, you name it. There's a number of activities, and I always try to think what's realistic, what's fun, what would make camp just a little bit different next year. That's all. So,
you know, my favorite thing is the pond.
A pond.
And
I know.
I love
the water.
The pond.
Yeah.
So I would say some more water sports.
Yeah.
I love it. And I know some people say, "Oh, it's cold." I love cold water. I love it. I could spend all day long just swimming in the pond. I would.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
That's the biggest treat for me.
This is the best time, by the way. Look how flat it is.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful. This is the time to get out there and paddleboard.
Yeah.
So one word, and it describes the essence of camp. What word would you use?
Ooh. I would say joy. And the reason I say joy and not happiness is because I think, I don't want to say happiness is materialistic, but happiness is something that is fleeting. It comes and goes very quickly. And one thing you said a moment ago is the excitement of camp is contagious. And so once one of these kids who comes to camp with, again, like I said, really at no fault of their own, with an attitude that's not that great, and you know, they catch it, they hold on to that feeling for the rest of the week. And so it's a feeling that stays with them, that spreads. And I don't know, even for me, a feeling of joy, a feeling of contentment and satisfaction and gratefulness to be in a place like this and to experience it. And I feel almost selfish, you know, saying that.
It is a very selfish experience.
And saying, you know, how much it impacts me, because I know it's for the kids, and that's why we're all here. We're here. We do this for the kids. But I tell people again, another thing that I tell people when I'm trying to recruit is it makes you feel not happiness, real joy. It's something that it's almost undescribable. It's something that's good for the soul to do. As much as we're here for the kids, it changes you as a person.
Yeah. I always say
it
feeds my soul. It literally nourishes my soul.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's something that I will always be grateful to have been a part of.
We're grateful to have you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know MVCCF loves you. You're never going away.
I'm not going anywhere.
You're not getting. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. People don't know it, but we're running a hard cold up here. Just joking. Terrible joke. I know. Yeah. Well, thank you. It's been so sweet getting to know you. And then I just love your father. He is one of the best humans. He is.
I know. He is.
You're very fortunate. Too. Yeah.
I love him too.
Yeah. And thank you for, sealing the deal with him.
Yeah.
Because it's changed his world. Like you said, you guys talked about the same camper.
Yeah.
That had a really big impact on him. I could tell.
And my dad's at the rock wall. So that too was amazing to experience that moment.
With him.
With my dad.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah.
And be there together to experience that. So that was a blessing in and of itself too.
Yeah. True. So. I would love that. Yeah. This is a father and son right here. Oh. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.